welcome to the Heart of Fauquier podcast. Here you'll learn the stories and tips from local business leaders and entrepreneurs who make up the heart of the community. Discover what makes Fauquier so wonderful and be inspired by the journey of local success stories. Now let's join Austin, owner of Bedrosian Cleaning Services, as we hear from today's special guest.
All right, welcome to today's episode of the Heart of Fauquier. It's going to be a super exciting episode. My name is Austin Bedrosian. I'm your host, as always, and our super special guest today is Brandi Norrell. So I'm very excited to visit with her. She's here at Studio Luxe Boutique in Old Town Warrenton. And so before we get things kicked off, though, I do have some very exciting news on our end with the podcast. As you can see, I'm wearing some merch here from the Heart of Fauquier, and also the hat that says Buy Local with the outline of the county, and then some magic here on the back.
Fauquier first.
All about supporting local business. I have two more little things here to show you. So this is just the front, super nice tri-blend soft with the sponsor on the bottom here.
Nice.
And then a mug as well. These samples just came in for us, and we will have an online store by the end of the month. We'll keep you updated, but it is super exciting to have that. I know you guys love supporting local businesses.
Yep.
And so this is just to bring that awareness out even more. And stay tuned. There's more stuff besides here, what's sampled. And we'll give you all the details very soon.
Good deal.
I'm super excited about it. So it's been
a
lot of fun.
So you guys heard that. Another opportunity to support local. So make sure you guys, I guess you'll provide a link at some point.
I will.
And then you guys can hop on and buy all the things, because supporting local is a big deal.
It is. Yeah, so you'll see things on Facebook, Instagram, and then our website as well. So stay tuned. But then we're going to jump into this interview here. So we have a lot to talk about, so we'll jump right into it. Brandi was our first snapshot that we did. So our new series, Heart of Fauquier Snapshots, if you've followed on Facebook or Instagram, has been a really big hit.
And it's lots of good feedback, lots of good exposure, I would say. And the other businesses that you guys have done it with have said awesome things too. So
yes, absolutely. So a lot of people are seeing these new things, getting to know about the faces behind the storefront. I like to call it the stories behind the storefront.
That's true, yep.
So that's been fun.
Exactly.
To get that, exposure for people, and people who, they might know about the business. Like, your business has become more and more popular.
It has.
But, to see that face again and just understand there's a personality here.
Absolutely. There's a person behind every single business. Every small business isn't just a dream. There is someone who, labored over it. It is their baby.
Yeah.
So, yes, absolutely. It's always nice to make that connectivity. Even when you're out in the community, when people come up to you and they know, oh my gosh, I saw you on this, or I noticed you from this, you're the person who owns. It's always nice because they then have a personal story to share with you too. So
exactly, it feels really good too.
Yep, it is that part.
So just to get kicked off, we touched on it a little bit, but tell us just a little about who you are and the store here that you own.
All right, so I'm Brandi Norrell. I own Studio Luxe Boutique here in Warrenton at 9 South 5th Street, directly across from Great Harvest. It is a full-scale women's boutique, so we sell all things beautiful for women. We service the sizes extra small to 3X, so all-inclusive. And we are we specialize in transitional wear, so the idea of being able to easily transition your look from day to evening without having to go home and change your clothes, because who has time for that?
Yeah.
In Northern Virginia, with the traffic and the hustle and bustle and family and kids and life, that is near impossible to do. So sophistication with a whole bunch of fashion.
Yeah, very cool.
Yes.
Awesome. And then the second thing here, really big news that was just announced.
True.
When this comes out, it'll be a few days after the fact, but tell them about the huge news that you guys released.
So this morning, we announced that we are going to be opening a second location here in Old Town on Main Street, a bigger location for us ladies, and then we will also be keeping our existing space here, and this will be our more contemporary location, our tween boutique, as we're calling it, so this will be Little Luxe, and Studio Luxe will be down the street, and it will be all the things that we have more so twice the fashion, twice the fun, and twice the friends.
Yeah, I love it. That's so cool. And that's amazing for any business to expand like that.
For sure.
But you've been in business how long? When did you open your doors here?
So I opened the doors here in October 2019. So this October, it will be 2 years. So
2 years in.
Yep, 2 years in. So that is Studio Luxe's birthday gift to themselves, is a new location.
Awesome.
And so then the contemporary location where we're currently sitting, which that's what it will be transformed into, it will open approximately about a month later in November. So before the holidays.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. That's good timing.
It's good timing, and I'm excited about it. It's I think you talked, and I've talked to so many people today after making the announcement. And when I initially opened my business here in Warrenton, I wasn't even considering like a second location at that time. I was like, oh, well, this is perfect. This is the right amount of space. I love the building. It has good bones. I like the area, the community. Everything about it I fell for head over heels, like immediately. And I had looked at other locations and I couldn't unsee or unfeel Fauquier County and Warrenton, and specifically this building. And in that, I hadn't thought about it. But as I met more people and I listened to, my audience and my customers and now my friends and my family, because these people have turned into friends and family. They're not just customers. I saw the need and not so much the opportunity, but the need here in the community. Yeah. So what's happened at this location is I've kind of divided and conquered in terms of the space here. So a little of this and a little of that and a splash of that. And I am officially out of room, just short of hanging it from the ceilings, and the ceilings are low. So there's what I can do. So that said, it just made the most amount of sense to be able to grow my business and grow it locally. I'm a mom, so that's always going to be first to me. I don't want to miss anything that Trinity does. And like I said, I want to be the obnoxious mom with the sign and the shirt with her,
and the
picture on it and the cowbell at the games. And so the idea of putting it somewhere other than here in this like general area just wasn't appealing to me, because I don't want to add to my commute. I don't want to have to give up and make home and family sacrifices. Yeah. I can sacrifice my time. I can sacrifice my energy. However, I can't sacrifice the time with her, because you don't get it back. So around the corner, not far, I can kind of like shimmy back and forth between the two when needed. And it's the best of both worlds. So just kind of all the pieces fell into place, and it was just another reminder that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and it's on time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love it. Yep. And even when we did the snapshot, you said, one of the big reasons you even have this business is so you can prioritize your family and everything.
Absolutely. And I think it's important for the next generation to give them a place to grow and glow. So showing my daughter that it's possible is important. Showing other people that business ownership is tough. It's a different kind of commitment, but it's not impossible.
Right.
You can have an idea, you can have the funding, you can have all the things. However, what's most important is you show up every single day as yourself. Be authentic, be genuine to you, and be the face of your business. So many business owners, and I struggled with that for a little bit. I wanted to sell people on the brand and not me. And not because I wasn't proud of it or excited about it, or not because I'm not awesome. However, because I am, I'm kidding. However, I wanted more than anything for people to enjoy and fall in love with Studio Luxe, the brand. However, I'm the brain behind the brand. So it's so incredibly important that people get to know me as well. So the minute that I made that pivot and I was ready to get in front of my business, it made a world of difference. And my daughter gets to see that I can unapologetically be myself every day. And my ideas, that I'm enough, my ideas are enough. The passion that I have behind this is more than enough to grow and glow. So, on to the second location, bigger and better, and twice as much fashion, fun, and friends.
Very cool. It's exciting stuff. Yes. And it's cool that you mentioned talking about being the face of your business, because that's really what we're kind of encouraging with the podcast is like, so many people know maybe these storefronts, or they might not even know about the store, and that's part of what we do as well.
For sure.
But to hear that story and about that person, and just, it makes it so much better.
There's just a different level of connectivity.
Yep.
So often it takes for me to share with people that like, oh, well, I have a daughter and that sort of thing. And they're like, oh my gosh, no way. And I'm like, oh yeah, and she's this and she's that. And it's that relatability factor.
Yeah.
It's okay to be a real person in your business. That's one of the best things about business ownership. I think I have the best job ever, like on the planet, hands down. This was my dream job before I knew it was my dream job. And when you're passionate about what you do, it doesn't feel like you're coming to work each day.
Yeah.
So I'm never really working. I'm just having a good time, and sometimes I get paid for it. That's it.
Sometimes
you get paid for it, Yeah.
But
it's an opportunity to, meet everybody in the community and make extra friends and family, and really just, savor the opportunities and the idea of you can mix business and home and pleasure and all the things because you're part of a community.
Yeah.
I always say that, as business, I do a lot of collaborative stuff with a lot of the other businesses down here. And the biggest takeaway is that we win together as a group. It's so important to support one another and for me to frequent them and patronize those businesses because I can send people there because I can say, oh, I know that they have this and that and we don't carry it, but this place does. And then it's great if Studio Luxe is doing great, or now Studio Luxe and Little Luxe are doing great.
Yeah.
However, nobody's coming to town if there's nothing else here.
Mm-hmm.
So we win together. So we got to stick together and we got to treat each other like family. We got to love one another out loud all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know if this is the right word, but maybe a holistic approach to life of just everything works together.
Yes.
You can't have, some people do this, but I think it really wears on them. Their work life, their home life, their friend life. You just gotta
there's all the
be the same
separation.
There is separation, but being the same person letting them complement each other.
Right, they do. They complement each other, and when you get to be yourself every day, it makes it that much easier. It's easier for me to go home and be a mom. I'm a better family member, a better mom, a better friend. I'm a better everything when, I spend a lot of time here. When this goes well, and it doesn't feel like work, I just do whatever feels good. So if it doesn't stir joy in my soul, I just don't do it. Other than pay bills because we can't get around that.
Got it.
Right.
That is important.
Yeah, it is. It is. Lights on and all those things are super important.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Oh.
Those are just the speakers. That's it.
That makes me think of, oh my gosh, and was it Grease?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't know why I know.
Right.
I have 4 older sisters,
there you
so
go.
that's why I know about that. But it just made me think of high school.
It is, yeah. It's the xylophone.
That
That's
cracks
right.
me up.
Yeah, when they play the music for the bell, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So let's move on here to the next question. So with your business now, 2 years and obviously you had different challenges that were special with COVID and a new business, now a new location.
Right.
But what would you say has been one of your biggest challenges so far, and how did you overcome it?
I would say, let's see. The biggest challenge I would say in business in general would be, in this case, introducing something to a town that I didn't know anybody when I opened a business here. Okay. I signed my lease on October 1st and I opened it on October 20th. So, there was some marketing, there was a little bit of, conversation and that sort of thing, but I had to focus on getting the business open. So being on a side street, I'm the bookend of the retail district here. I'm on South 5th Street, so there's 5 blocks of fun before you get to me. So helping just to the exposure, not really doing the upfront stuff because the business was opening. So that unique challenge of hitting the ground running at the same time while keeping the ball in the air.
Yeah.
I would say that was the biggest one, but it worked out.
Yeah.
Social media has been a huge force. The fact that I am out and about in the community, that I patronize these businesses, that I collaborate, that has been the pivot that turned it around. That could have been a very unfortunate situation gone wrong. And I just used it to my advantage.
Yeah.
So I just say that everybody saves the best for the last because I'm on 5th Street.
Perfect. Good bookend, good end cap.
That's right. It's a great way to end the day. Yeah. Right.
Cool. So. The finale of the...
That's right, of the retail district.
Yep.
Yep.
Cool. And that honestly leads perfectly into what I wanted to talk about next. So, because it's how you solve the problem.
It is,
Yeah. So you said on a social media post recently that if you wrote a book, it would be titled Make a Run for It.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about what that title means?
Absolutely. So I don't know that I'll ever be an author. So let me just put that disclaimer out there right now. However, make a run for it because that's sometimes what you have to do. You just have to gather what you got and make a run for it. I had no way of knowing that this would work. My undergrad is in youth advocacy from George Mason, and then I have an MBA in strategic leadership. So although that pours into the business sense of it, it doesn't. I'm not a fashion major. I don't have, a huge fashion mentor. It was just me.
Just a passion.
Just a passion and a desire to do it. So I was like, I just got to make a run for it. So sometimes you just have to take the resources that you have, whether that's your vision, whether that's, the funding that you have, and work with that. Studio Luxe didn't start with all the things that it is now. I used to not sell art off the wall. And I didn't have a lot of the things that we have, but I listened to the audience. However, I had enough passion and determination to make for a run for it initially, to grow it to what it is, which is now going to be a second location, as well as sip and shops and personal shopping and shopping by appointment and all of those things that it's grown into. That wasn't the initial vision. The vision was having a boutique in a community that I loved and that I believed in and doing something that I loved. and then being open to everything else. So I'm continuing to make a run for it every day. I get to make a run for it. This week I made a run for it and open in a new space. That's definitely like a sprint.
Yeah, that's a big run.
That's a for sure. So it's staying open, and it's just knowing that you're enough, that your vision is enough, getting some of the things that you need, garnering the things that you need and harnessing the information that you need to make it successful, but just staying open and keep going. Like continue, like your vision doesn't have to stop where it started.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning for Luxe. And I knew that when I opened the door almost 2 years ago. However, I didn't know that so much would come so fast, but by me staying like just open and flexible in my approach to business, I can reinvent this space and every other space and everything that I do every single day. So still running, still sprinting, sometimes, jumping into faith, running into faith, like yeah. And continuing just to reinvent and pivot and being open to ideas. So, and listening to my customer base. They come in and they say, hey, you have this, is this something you think you're going to carry? Sure, why not? Let's give it a go. Make a run for it. There's so many things that nobody knows how to do it or doesn't know the exact way. And if you don't get out there and do it, then you'll never know. Yeah. Nothing haunts you like the things you don't do or the things you don't buy.
Very, very true. Very true.
Right.
Yeah, the things you don't do.
Yeah. Because then it's always the what if.
Yeah.
Or what if I would have done this, or how come I didn't, or 5 years ago So just get out there and
so anyone who's wanting to jump into something, make a run for it, whether it's entrepreneurship or maybe a certain career or something.
Right, for sure.
Yeah. How do they jump into that? What do you
I would
say to them?
Do a little bit of research, do your homework. If you have somebody you can talk to who does that, go talk to them, interview them, pick their brain. The internet is amazing. There's so much information and there's so much free information. Really dig deep into what it is and then go for it.
Yeah.
There's no other way to know except for to go for it. And I think right now, even with all the things that are happening, COVID and pandemic and things, now's a great time to start businesses because everyone is getting back to the basics. People are falling in love with their community. They're reimagining their community. The communities are reinventing themselves to meet the needs of the population that they serve. Whereas before, especially in this area, so many people commuted back and forth. So many people didn't get to enjoy their communities because they were, they did their grocery shopping and their retail stuff out by work during lunch, before and after, because of the traffic patterns here. Well, now everybody's worked from home for almost 2 years. And there are so many people that I can't tell you who've come in and be like, oh my gosh.
I didn't know this was here.
I didn't know this was here. I haven't been to Warrenton in a year, 2 years or 3 years, or I was working in, DC or Tyson's or Vienna or wherever. And I did all of my stuff there. I didn't do it here because everything would be closed or it's just more convenient. Well, now communities are convenient. We have outdoor dining. We have, live music in the street. We have all these collaboration opportunities. We have a phenomenal farmers market. You have all these cool shops. And I think that's in every community. You just have to figure out where your lane is in that, because there's room for all of us. So, yes.
Yeah.
Make a run for it.
Yeah, so make that jump, but don't do it alone, because you never have to do it
alone. You don't have to do it alone.
I mean, it all depends on you.
Yeah.
But you're doing it with other people, supporting you and encouraging you and teaching
Absolutely.
you.
And I mean, so many people will come around you that you didn't even know wanted to be able to support you. Sometimes it's perfect strangers. I spent today after... making that announcement, I can't tell you how many messages and how many people came by, not just to say congratulations, but how can we help? Yeah. How can we help you make the move? We have a truck, we have a wheelbarrow, we have a this, we have a that. Do you need this? Do you need somebody to build this? Are you going to have to repaint this? Are you going to paint that? Let us know. And these aren't people who are in those professions. These are just everyday people who want not just the best for this place, but they want the best for this entire community. Yeah. So they're excited about it. So there's people who will come alongside of you and help you make a run for it, and sometimes help you push you across the finish line when you have nothing left. So yes.
I love that. Mm-hmm. That's very cool.
But if you don't say it, you don't get in front of it, then you don't have the opportunity to do that.
So many people get, paralysis of analysis, and you just kind of they don't even look into stuff. You just got to go for it.
There's
do
a
something.
Sign in here somewhere.
Do something.
There's a sign in here somewhere that says, "Hold on, wait, let me overthink this."
Oh no!
Right. So if you overthink it, sometimes you think yourself out of it. Yeah. I could come up with 3,000 reasons on why this wasn't a good idea. I could run down a list. When I initially opened, I said, "Oh well, profit really isn't I mean, it's important, but that's not my main objective. Like, I want people to leave lighter than they came in. This is a feel-good place. It's a happy place. It's a gathering place. It's a place for conversation and good energy and a little retail therapy too. However, it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
And that mindset, everybody was like, what? Profit should be your number one. And I was like, no, people first, then profit, you know?
Yeah.
And everything else just kind of, but had I overthought it, or had I listened to that, or had I even like spent any real time on that, this may not have happened to have this conversation, to be moving on to something different. So just got to get out there and make a run for it.
Right. Which is, I mean,
got to do it.
You have that sign, but you also have rise and grind right here.
Rise
that's what you're
grind,
talking about.
absolutely. Rise and grind, and just show up for yourself. You know, look at what's important in your life, prioritize, and go from there. I knew that spending time with my daughter was important. So I knew when I opened a business, I couldn't be that far from home. I knew that I wanted flexibility. I wanted my own schedule. I wanted to be able to say, I'm not going to work today.
Yeah.
I am a morning person, kind of. I can be a morning person, and I am sometimes. However, I don't want to people before a certain hour. I can social media all day, you know, in the mornings, but I open at 11 o'clock. It's like a lazy 11 o'clock opening because I can like ease into my day.
Yeah.
However, if I worked like a 9 to 5, I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be in charge of that. So there's so many perks to business ownership. Sleeping in was one of them.
Yeah. I've never been accused of being a morning person.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No.
I'll stay up and do cool stuff until 2 a.m. or work till 2 a.m.
Yes.
But
yeah.
Mornings,
to me, there's really not much to say before a certain hour.
Yeah.
I need coffee. I need some motivation and a couple extra minutes of sleep. Like I want to be able to hit snooze at least 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. That extra couple minutes, and then we always have almost a family snuggle time.
There
my
you
1-year-old,
go.
she loves to come snuggle in bed and stuff.
Yeah, and now that my daughter is in school, like she's a middle schooler, she's going into 8th grade, and it gives us time, gives her time to forget stuff at home, and me being able to like go home back and get it. Like, hey mom, can you bring my lunch? Hey mom, I left my cheerleading shoes, or whatever it is. I get to go do all the things. I can make meetings in the morning, and I don't have to check any schedules. I don't have to be like, oh, let me see. I don't know. Let me see if I can find somebody to bring that, or oh, let me use my PTO so that I can. So it allows me a lot more freedom and flexibility to do things, and like I said, it doesn't feel like work. I love what I do.
Yeah.
Way more than I even thought. I knew I would love it, but I love it. I can't see myself doing anything else. So,
which is great.
Yes.
And it's funny, I've recently seen studies or surveys where I've seen as high as 40% of people right now are looking to make a change in the next year with their career.
Absolutely.
Or business.
I think that you have to get through the go through. So there's going to be times and seasons in our life where we have to work certain jobs.
Sure, you're not going to love every day.
You're not going to love every job. And I had those jobs, and they were jobs for me. They were not necessarily careers. You do what you have to do for as long as you do it. And then when you have that opportunity to make that transition and you have that magic hour, seek it out.
Yeah.
Like dive in and make it count and figure out what it is you want to do and harness that and move in that direction. And then sometimes that's a 5-year plan. That's saying, in X number of years, I'll be able to do this. And you're putting those pieces of the puzzle into place. So it doesn't have to be immediate. Everybody's isn't going to be like a 20-day flip like mine is.
Yeah.
However, there's plenty of opportunity to do those things, to do them well. Not only just exceed your own expectations, however everybody else's. So, and again, there's room for everything. I could sell the same thing that somebody else does next door, and it would still be different, because there's room for all of us. So, yeah. Just gotta show up and be yourself.
Yep. And do what you enjoy, but know that there's gonna be days where you're not always gonna love it.
You're not gonna always love it. I mean, some days, I would definitely say some days, when I first started this business, kind of like now where I'm like, oh, save the best for last, and the book into town and all those things. I had to be okay with that. Like, I had to arrive at that place because initially I was like, man, it is kind of lonely down here on this corner. I don't even know. Like, maybe this wasn't a good idea. I love my building. However, because when I chose this location, there were spaces available on Main Street. However, I fell for this building. Yeah. It has good bones. It's super cute. It's out the way. Like, I love the idea that people could come here and still be in town, however, feel like they're not in Warrenton. Yeah. That was important to me. And so
it's obviously worked pretty well too.
So, it has. It worked out. It's had its benefits. It also had its drawbacks in the beginning though, because I had to get people here. I had to change the traffic patterns and the walkability patterns here in town to get people to this place. So now either people are, on the first stop, or I'm saving the best for last. It's one or the other, because there's, there's benefits to both ends. I have great neighbors, so that also helps. Great harvest. Collaborate with them. Yes, an open book and High Flyer and quilting essentials, hot cakes. There's so many great businesses that are here on the corner of Main and Fifth that we collaborate. We spend so much time with each other. We look out for each other, and we have keys to each other's businesses. Like, we love on each other like the best way possible. So that's the other part, is surrounding yourself with good people. So
and even when I was coming in to do this interview, you were talking great things about another business and stuff like that, and giving tips and everything to people. So
absolutely, that's what it's about. I mean, I believe in Old Town. I believe in these businesses. And like I said, I'm here. I eat here. I do happy hour here. I shop here. I'm here all the time. And if I don't know these businesses, then I can never refer. I can never say they have or that. But part of that is because I look at my own house and their things are there. So yes, full of good people, good businesses.
And that's the other thing, like we talked about in the beginning, once you know that person behind the scenes, it just makes you love their business and want to support them that much more.
Sure.
You're not just comparing, this has a price here versus this has a price over here.
Right.
That's sure always going to be in your mind possibly, but it's about supporting them. And
it's secondary. When you meet someone and you believe in them and their vision, and you have a relatability to them, and you know something personal about them, price then is secondary for me. Because I'm like, and I don't care what anything costs, if I love that business owner or that shop, and it's not just here in Old Town, that's anywhere. We all have places we like to frequent. We all have stores that we go to. And if you sit down and really think about why you go there, a lot of times it's the people, it's the staff, it's how they make you feel. And when it comes back to that, I would patronize a small business any day over a large business, and that was even before being a small business owner. I'm more in tune with it now and why I do. However, that's always been a thing, because it goes back to the people. People are first, profits are second. And a lot of these small businesses, they are just that, they're a small business. So it's not just a dream. That's how they feed their family. That's how they keep their lights on. That is their paycheck, So they believe in their business like none other, and that's why they show up every day and show up in such a mighty way, because it's theirs. That's their baby. So, yes.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting because, it is putting people first ahead of profits, even because, and it's not that you're trading one for the other.
You're not. You don't have to.
You love on the people and do it right, you're going to make the profits. You help people get what they want, happens. You're going to get what you need.
It's an organic transition. When you love on people, even if, I think when you walked in, I had some customers here, and that particular person, she didn't find anything she loved today. However, she said, I'll be back tomorrow with my friend. So she loved her experience long enough that, even though, and we do get new inventory every day, so that she knows that there will be something different here tomorrow. However, also, the experience was enough for her to not only come back herself, but she's going to bring somebody who's never been here. So that small window that I had to make a positive impact, I did, but it was just me being myself. It was me treating somebody else how I want to be treated. So yes, it makes a difference.
Which is better than trying to make the sale and pushing someone away.
Right. Pushing it, because you don't want them to walk away with something that they don't love, or feeling like you were aggressive in your sales approach. There is no sales approach here. It's just loving on people, period. So it's the only way.
Very cool. So really what we've talked about is, making a jump for it. Just go for it. Do your research, but you said something about, how did you word it? Something about you being good enough. You have value to do these things.
You have value, you're good enough. So often I think that we don't fit into a certain mold, whether it's what society has told us or what we're seeing on social media, because that's a hard comparison sometimes. You see people's highlight reels. You don't see sometimes.
Literally.
Yeah, like
a highlight reel now.
It is highlights. Nobody is like, and then. However, have you ever heard the saying, if everybody were to throw all their problems into a pile and you got to see what other people were dealing with, you would take yours back in a minute. You'd be like, just kidding, give me, nope, you do you, I got mine. If we knew what each other went through, the battles that other people faced, it would change. It would be a game changer. So knowing you're enough, knowing that your story matters, because there's somebody else who is walking your walk, and sometimes when you share your own testimony, you're helping somebody else out without even knowing it. Because a lot of times people might be shameful of what they've gone through or what they've experienced, or they just don't know who they can talk to. And sometimes that leads to different types of conversations, and you can share your resources, or you can share the highlights, and you can connect with those people and say, hey, you told me this last week and this turned this into that for me. So knowing you're enough, knowing that you're valued, making a run for it, and really going all in. Show up in a mighty way for yourself. Because the more you show up for you, the better you can show up everywhere else in your life, whether that's love, life, family, business, and anything else you do. So,
yeah.
Yep.
And then valuing people.
Valuing people.
Yeah.
That's where it starts. All of that comes from valuing your people. So value yourself, value others. Other things have a way of falling into place.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know we're sick of saying this, but we're in a really, interesting time right now. It's a very special time to make that jump, I mean, right now, I think people are so ready to focus on supporting local. They're so ready to be that local person to be supported or make that career change. So I think it's a really great time to do whatever it is that you've been wanting to do.
For sure.
There's no better time than right now.
There is no better time than right now. And I think so often, and again, it goes back to what I was saying about falling in love with your community again. People are seeing the void. They're deciding how they want to. People's time and money and energy are so incredibly valuable, and certainly in this season where some people lack or don't have what they had before. So people are really going back into their communities, being like, "Oh, did you know this?" And now that we're being neighbors again and talking to our neighbors and spending time at home, we're able to share things. We're able to say, "Hey, have you ever been to that new bakery?" Or "Have you ever been to that shop?" Have you ever thought about going to this place or that place, or sharing information? So it is a great time for anybody to go into business, to support communities. And even if you're not shopping local, just hang out local.
Yeah, sure.
Just pop in local.
Yep. And it's I live down on the south side of the county.
Okay.
So it's cool to come to Main Street. I'm trying to come up
more
to different areas more
and
and more.
Okay.
And so we had our anniversary dinner last week at Molly's, and I had never been there. So just doing something new.
All of those things. And COVID, this pandemic has really pushed businesses, towns, governments, especially locally, to get really creative with their problem solving. So, here we have outside dining, and that wasn't a thing before. It's amazing. It's brought so much extra exposure to the town, and people are having a good time. And again, it's getting back to the basics of love thy neighbor and be part of your community, and talking and greeting, and it's not the fast-paced grind that it was for so long. So it is a special time, and so many great things have come out of it, not just for business, however, for families and, organizations and entities and nonprofits and everything. So it's been good.
Yeah, good. Well, as we're coming to a close here, do you have any final comments that you'd like to bring up or tell our audience?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. Glow through what you go through. Glow and grow through what you go through. Whether any area of your life, it's so incredibly important. You just don't know what's going to happen unless you get out there and do it. So when in doubt, make a run for it.
Hey,
make a run for it.
This book's coming. This book might be coming. I
don't know. I mean, it might be like
never say never.
It might be like a picture book with 3 words.
That works.
Choose your own adventure. Make your own adventure. Make a run for it and choose your own adventure after that with pictures.
Cool.
But look for Studio Luxe. We are growing. In every way. We're on social media at Studio Luxe Boutique on Facebook and Instagram, and we're always having a party. We celebrate here every day, whether it's our milestones or somewhere else's. So
I love it.
Helping everybody turn fashion into sophistication in a mighty big way.
Yeah.
Yes.
So definitely come and give Studio Luxe a visit. They have
Absolutely.
lots to choose from.
Indeed.
They're going to have even more here very soon.
Even more, yes.
Yeah, do whatever you can to support, and also check out our stuff here coming out this month. I'm super excited about that.
Good deal.
Follow her social media and follow ours to stay up to date on everything.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Thank you so much for supporting the county and this podcast. And
yes, absolutely.
Brandi.
For sure, and all the other small businesses down here.
Yes.
So frequent them, visit them, shop local, shop often, and shop a lot.
Yes. Cool. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for today's episode of The Heart of Fauquier. If you loved joining us today, give this podcast a great review and subscribe to keep up with new episodes. If you have an office in Fauquier that needs a cleaning service, reach out to Bedrosian Cleaning Services and see how they can serve you. Until next time, thanks for listening.